Everything worthwhile is uphill. And today's word is uphill. You see, every dream that you've ever had, it's all uphill. If you have a great relationship with somebody, you had to work on it. It's uphill. If you've built a wonderful business, guess what? It was uphill. If you've made the right decisions, they're not easy, are they? It's uphill. And the only way that you can go uphill is to be intentional. Nobody ever accidentally went uphill. You've never talked to a successful person and said, how did you get to the top of the mountain? And then look at you and say, I have no idea. If they're at the top of the mountain, they know how they got there because they had to have effort. It took energy. It took time. Everything worthwhile is uphill. I was on a phone call with an executive circle, and I was talking to a CEO of a very successful company. And I asked him about do-overs. Do-overs are things that where we've made a mistake, and if we would we like to go back and do them over? We call those do-overs. And so I asked him, I said, in your leadership decisions, do you have some things in your life that you would, quote, like to do over? And I'll never forget his response. He said, no, John. He said, I made wrong decisions. But he said, I don't want to do any of them over. And I said, I kind of pushed him a little bit. So well, why is that? He said, well, okay. He said, here's what I know. The decisions that I made that weren't good decisions, they brought adversity and failure. And he said, I learned so much from them. And I established my character in them. That if I went back and I had all the do-overs and I did it all right, he said, I think I would lack wisdom and I think I would lack character. And I just kind of want the wisdom and the character that the problems and the failures have brought out of my life. I thought how incredible, how beautiful that is. So the phrase start over, well, you can go start over and do a do-over, or you can start right now of looking at the lessons you've learned and not count your losses, just count your lessons. And it'll take you a lot further than you could ever. There is a choice you have to make in everything you do. So keep in mind that in the end, the choice you make makes you. Those are powerful, impacting, true words. The choices I make me. The choices you make you. You know, the good news about choices is that we have the freedom to make a choice. But the moment that we make the choice, it really determines what's going to happen to us. And Coach Wooden used to teach me that, John, when it comes down to making choices, understand that every day you're either preparing or repairing. If you make a bad choice today, you repair tomorrow. If you make a good choice today, you prepare tomorrow for a better day. We make choices every day, and this is not like going to the grocery store and asking yourself if you're going to have celery or broccoli. That's not going to make a big difference. Not every day, but many days, though, we have those choices of character, those choices that involve priorities, those choices that involve relationships that we need to make. And I just want to encourage you, the next time you make the choice, understand, in the end, the choice makes you. A river is where the water flows. It has boundaries, it has banks. And by the way, those boundaries and banks allow that water to go rapidly to where its destination is. So boundaries and banks, they're a good thing. If you remove the boundaries and the banks, and all of a sudden you just have a flood, and the flood's not going basically anywhere. The banks give the river some impetus and let the flow have energy to it. But what I tell people all the time is that you and I are to be rivers, not reservoirs. What does a reservoir do? It stores up the water. A river, it lets the water flow through it to its needed source, to the tributaries, to the farms, to the places that need the water for irrigation so that they can have the crops. A river is a constant source of nourishment for people. You want to be a river so that people, when they see you coming, they know flowing toward them are things that will add value to them. Don't try to store it and hold it for a special day. The problem is with special days is they're not that special and they don't come often enough. Use what you have now. Remember, God will only give to you what he knows will flow through you. That's a river flowing into the lives of people to really make a difference. I teach that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. That being true, when people come to me and they say, John, how can I increase my influence with others? I share with them, relate well to them. You see, people won't really go along with you if they can't get along with you. And what I have found is that relationships are the foundation for leadership. And when I relate well with you, I influence you. And when I influence you, what I say, what I do has an impact upon your life. So when people say, well, John, I want to be a good leader. Where do I start? I always say, start with relationships. When you can connect with people on a one-on-one level, then you begin to be able to have influence and lead them. Here's what I know about relationships. The best leaders love the people that they lead. In fact, I often tell leaders, if you don't love your people, stop leading your people because then you'll take advantage of them. So the next time you think about relationships, just understand that that's the foundation of you becoming a better leader.